Epidemic in Academics is a booklet published by Students Federation of India, Jadavpur University Local Committee, where we oppose the new guidelines by UGC. COVID-19, the worldwide pandemic born out of the novel coronavirus, has engaged us in a constant war against the virus for the past couple of months. Education, health and employment. This pandemic has wreaked havoc on each and every amenity one by one. Alongside the fear of getting infected, the fear of losing the only means of survival has rendered us helpless. In such dire circumstances, citizens of our country expected the support of the government. They expected the government to stand by them. The government, however, has not shown an iota of the concern that the people deserve. The recent UGC guidelines have proved once again that this government does not care to stand by the students in terrible times. Instead, they don't hesitate to trouble the students and play with their futures in order to protect the interests of the corporates. 2 years ago, the central government decided to dismantle UGC. However, in the wake of severe protest and resistance, this dangerous proposal has still not been implemented. Following this, the central government formulated a project to turn the UGC into a practically inactive body through the new education policy of 2019. Again, in the midst of the pandemic, we have seen the UGC's Tughlaq-like decision in the formulation of a guideline related to examinations and academic calendar in the month of April. Additionally, the country also witnessed, after 2.5 months of the previously published guideline, the University Grants Commission's decision to make examinations mandatory for final year students. Expert in what? According to the UGC, the current guideline has been formulated based in the suggestions made by some expert committee. However, it does not take an expert to understand why the provision of a compulsory examination is impractical and highly unethical in these calamitous times. Who are the experts on this expert committee? Whom have these experts consulted before taking this decision? The students of this country have no answer to these questions. What do the recent guidelines state? Number 1. It is compulsory for the final year students to give examinations within September 2020 via online mode or offline mode or by both online and offline methods. Number 2. If any student fails to appear for the examinations owing to special reasons, then the concerned university should conduct a special examination for the student when the situation is favorable. Number 3. According to the guideline, the provision of mandatory examination applies to supplementary examinations as well. Number 4. The previous guideline must be followed for examinees of intermediate years. Number 5. Further, the UGC has published 2 more annexures to specify the sitting arrangement to be followed for these examinations. Blunder at the inception. Number 1. Education belongs to the concurrent list. Hence, the University Grants Commission cannot make examinations mandatory for the universities before discussing with the state governments. This is against the principles of a federal state structure. This is contrary to the principles embodied in the Indian Constitution. The government has once again proved their fascist orientation through this guideline. Number 2. The provision of online examinations, irrespective of the sitting arrangement, puts the lives of the students, teachers and other university employees at high risk. Railways, the most common public transport of India, has stopped their services till the end of August. The continuous rise in the rate of infected people only means that public transport services won't be resumed in the near future. However, a number of students, teachers and employees who go to these colleges and universities come from distant places and are dependent on public transport for their daily commute. Putting their lives at stake and pushing them towards the infection is inhuman and unscrupulous. Number 3. Only 36% of Indians enjoy internet services thanks to the hoax named Digital India. Doesn't this make it clear that a major chunk of the student community does not have the luxury of using the internet? Among the students who have access to the internet, a large portion doesn't have the financial condition which enables them to recharge their internet packs consistently. Alongside this, another portion aren't experts in different digital facilities such as handling emails and scanning documents. Hence, the online mode of evaluation is inherently discriminatory. Internet services in Kashmir has been discontinued or they are being not allowed to use the internet at a limited speed. How can the central government put emphasis on online education in such a situation? Number 4. Similarly, the provision of mandatory examination for supplementary papers is highly immoral and anti-student in nation. Number 5. Waiting for situations to normalize in order to conduct examinations and publish results of the examinees breeds further inequality. Hence, the provision for students to give examinations and collect their results at a later date is not only a major impediment in building up a career for these concerned students, but is also a plan to play with their future lives. Whatever could be understood so far. In April, when UGC published the preceding guidelines, the number of COVID-affected cases were rising by 400 to 500 every day. The percentage has now increased to 25,000 to 26,000 each day, and the rate of infection is not going down one bit. In such a situation, UGC decides to make examinations mandatory for final year students. The people of this country are scared. The center's unplanned game of lock and unlock has ruined their basic means of livelihood. The decision to conduct compulsory examinations for students in such a situation proves that our lives, our academic careers are nothing more than materialistic products to the UGC and the central government. Care of flashy advertisements and televised lectures boast that apparently the PM cares. Mobile caller tunes are still warning us against venturing outside unless absolutely necessary. On the other hand, students are apparently supposed to give examinations in such a situation. The question of a sitting arrangement which follow the protocols of social distancing comes much later. Will the roads through which the students reach the examination center be safe and follow proper protocols? Or does the central government and the Ministry of Human Resource Development only care about the big businessmen, the giant capitalist magnates? Like the great poet Shakti Chattopadhyay once wrote, the lives of the students are extremely frugal. The government could cut it up and throw it around merrily instead of issuing these draconian measures. Students' lives matter. Reports of suicide have come across from a number of states due to lack of facilities to attend online classes. A country where only 17% students get a chance to access higher educational facilities, the government wants to employ the tool of online education to create disparities, just like they have used the tools of caste, religion, and economic condition to disseminate dissension. As a result of this, students belonging to socially and economically backward sections will be denied of their basic right to education. Even though the ruling party preaches Sabki Saath, Sabki Vikas, these are just hollow words. In reality, this government is building barricades of digital division in the lives of these poor students. Progress. The UGC guidelines consist of terms like future progress, which is nothing but an attempt at preparing a blueprint for privatization of education. The UGC is aiming at selling off education into private hands, taking advantage of the pandemic situation, just like the government is selling off coal mines and railways into corporate ownership using farcical taglines such as "private means perfect service." When the government adopts the online model of taking classes and examinations, which is already prevalent in corporate circles, it is easy to understand that this government is sold out to the corporates and will do only their bidding instead of caring for and protecting the interests of the students at large. The incident where instead of recommending development of governmental infrastructure, Delhi University suggested signing deals with Amazon Web Service as an adept solution proves the aforementioned words without any doubt. Contradiction. The guidelines consist of a number of contradictory statements. Although the guidelines are apparently aimed at providing fair and equal opportunity, we have witnessed how blatantly discriminatory it is in practice. The exclusion of a huge number of students has made it very clear to us as to how fair these guidelines are. The UGC guidelines apparently claim to further career opportunities. However, the student community wants to know how this government, which is responsible for the highest unemployment in India in the last 45 years, is furthering the career opportunities by making students who do not have access to online or offline examinations wait for an infinite time. We agree that academic evaluation is imperative. However, evaluation and examinations are not synonymous. Examination has just been a more accepted form of academic evaluation over the years. Without conducting any sort of debate or deliberation with the student and teachers community, if the country, the deceiving and illogical UGC, has stated that they have apparently employed innovative means to deliberate and discuss. Clueless. The guidelines don't mention any sort of steps which are to be undertaken by the government, especially for students with disabilities. This lays bare the government's discriminatory attitude and makes it crystal clear anyway. Our alternatives. Number 1. No online or offline examinations. Keeping in mind the unprecedented situation, the following suggestions must be taken into accord. Point A. Already evaluated scores of current semester or year should be granted to the students. Point B. Scores of previous semesters can be taken into consideration for granting scores to students. Point C. A mixture of both the methods can be followed. Number 2. The number of infected people, deaths, and new containment zones and hotspots are increasing by the thousands on a daily basis. Under such circumstances, a singular, rigid policy of evaluation throughout the nation is not a practical solution. Every university and college must be granted the autonomy and right to engage in dialogue and discussion among both its teachers and student stakeholders in order to decide the best possible solution for themselves. Number 3. The UGC must, if necessary, engage in dialogue and sit down for talks with all the student organizations, student unions, teacher and non-teaching workers organizations. Number 4. The UGC must immediately take back its draconian guidelines published on 6th July 2020 and take adequate measures to immediately publish results without playing with the lives and careers of students. Therefore, the fascist BJP government actually intends to nullify the immense unity in diversity which is so characteristic of this great nation, thereby institutionalizing a rigid Brahmanized culture, examples of which we have seen in various instances. The recent drastic change in syllabus is also a part of that project. Under such circumstances, it is difficult to imagine such a government to tend to the issues being faced by all stakeholders involved with education through discussion and dialogue. The UGC and MHRD has been inspired by this long cherished fascistic project of this government and corporate interests which dictate them while publishing these guidelines. The UGC does not care about the mental health of the students either when it chooses to throw students into a confusing and speculative mode by instituting such discriminatory guidelines. Therefore, it is our duty as responsible students to build up consensus against these guidelines and stop the authorities from playing with our lives and future. Published by SFI Jadavpur University Local Committee on behalf of Debraj Debnath and Shondeep Nashkar. Contact 9563698414 or 8436890560 or contact via email contact.sfijulc@gmail.com.